state your full name for the record, please.
Stephen Unitil, 3rd Worcester District, Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Mark, thank you for coming out to Fitchburg tonight, and the folks up on the stage. I know it's a drive out, but my constituents and the ratepayers in Fitchburg certainly deserve you being here in the city of Fitchburg. I've been a member of the Telecom, Utilities, and Energy Committee for going on 8 years, and I have to really call upon DPU, as we have in the past, to step up. You've made amendments to some of the proposals that Unitil has made in the past, and they've been positive ones. We need to take that same approach this time, as cited by my colleague, Senator Flanagan. The Pine Tree Power stranded cost issue was one that I also believe would result in a rate reduction for the people of Fitchburg and portions of Lunenburg as well. But yet, now here comes this complex proposal. This proposal that can best be described as employing sleight of hand and misdirection. Overall result will be yet another rate increase for Unitil customers in the Fitchburg-Lunenburg area. It's an example of relentless arrogance on the part of this company. They just keep coming at you. They've had their foot on the neck of the people of Fitchburg for I don't know how many years, as long as they've been here. And it has to end at some point. The only way it's going to end, hopefully, is when they're no longer the energy provider for the city of Fitchburg. The highest rates in the Commonwealth, arguably on the East Coast, is this company. Major storm reserve that's incorporated into their proposal is a positive, I'll grant you that. But remember something, the reserve will be funded by the ratepayers. I would like to see this same revenue stream expended to upgrade current infrastructure concerns and issues. The company needs to look more closely at that. DPU needs to hold their feet to the fire. I urge my colleagues in the delegation also to revisit, and I will urge this in the future, to begin a dialogue to repeal deregulation due to its unintended consequences. The next front will be the need to address extraordinary deterioration, and this is a little off the subject when it comes to electricity, but the affecting our natural gas infrastructure is not only a danger to the public, it's something that you as a public utility commission is going to have to review very, very soon. You know, it was mentioned by Senator Flanagan as well, the storm recovery costs. Storm recovery costs in those storms that were cited didn't affect this area to the degree that I believe affected the seacoast region of New Hampshire. So we're calling upon our ratepayers in Fitchburg to cover that cost from those people. Again, the Attorney General will speak tonight. The Attorney General has been effective in the past and at least curbing the increases that this company comes after us on. We're hoping the same thing. We're hoping at the very least we do the same, if not completely eliminate this proposal and move on and leave the people of the city of Fitchburg and the other communities that Unitil services in a very, very difficult economic time. This is not the time. This is once again adding a tax on a tax. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other state representatives or state senators here tonight who wish to make a comment? How about the Attorney General? Sure.
My name is Mayor Wong, Mayor of the City of Fitchburg. I want to thank the DPU for providing me the opportunity to speak against 1390. I want to thank the Attorney General's Office for your attention and assistance in this matter. And I also want to thank our state delegation, the Fitchburg City Councilors who are here, and also the Fitchburg residents who have supported fiscal discipline and have shown shared outrage when there is a lack of it, as in this case. Unitil wants to create a stabilization fund to address future storms. Fitchburg was able to create a stabilization fund by finding savings from within our budget and tightening our belt. Unitil wants to pass through charges to the ratepayers for expenses considered to be out of the company's management and control. Fitchburg was able to deal with more than a decade of state aid cuts without requesting an override from its residents. Increasing efficiencies, eliminating waste, renegotiating with employees, and making strategic investments with paybacks are not out of management's control. They are entirely within it. I believe strongly that the rates for electric service in the city would be cheaper if Unitil was not a monopoly, if there was a competitive license to operate the distribution system based on the ability to deliver a minimum standard of service and a cap on the charges to the customer. This is evidenced by the recent purchase of the streetlight system that was owned by Unitil by the city of Fitchburg. The cost to operate the system is estimated to be less than $300,000, while the cost that Unitil would charge the city would be over $400,000. In addition, the city will be converting the streetlights from high-pressure sodium to LED technology once we obtain the requested information from Unitil, saving the city even more money. Unitil operated the streetlights at a higher cost in the city, even though it is their business, and failed to make innovative and forward-thinking investments to save both them and the customers money. There is a combination of low standards for utility companies and a lack of structure to protect the ratepayers from mediocre and bad management. And despite testimony by customers of Unitil's mediocre and bad management and hearing after hearing, it appears this matters little. It seems that Unitil simply has to demonstrate that they incurred a cost that would impact their profits and request a raise. Though Unitil is timing the raise for when the rates are scheduled to drop, the ratepayers will not see the benefit. In the last rate case, DPU 11-01, Unitil was granted a return on equity of 9.2%. This time, Unitil is requesting 10.25%. It is time that customers of Unitil get a positive return for once, and Unitil should not be allowed any ROE or return on equity until the State Oversight Board does a full analysis of Unitil to see if they and other utility companies have come even close to absorbing the impacts of reduced funding that municipalities like Fitchburg have been doing for years. Nothing less than a decrease in all customers' bills will be acceptable. So in addition to this, myself and our Department of Public Works Commissioner, Lenny Laxo, have comments specifically on the streetlight tariff. The city of Fitchburg turned off more than half our streetlights in 2009 as a cost-saving measure. The city purchased the streetlights from Unitil on March 1st, 2013 to reduce maintenance costs, enabling us to turn on more streetlights with the savings, and now we have more than 75% of the lights on. Next, we want to convert our streetlights to LEDs to realize even more savings and allow us to turn the rest of the lights on. We request that the DPU review the proposed streetlight tariff to ensure that the cities and towns in Unitil's service area can take advantage of the latest streetlight technology. The streetlight tariff needs to be flexible so that it covers the full range of wattages available with LED streetlights. For example, the proposed tariff for LEDs starts at 3850 lumens, which is about 50 watts. The majority of our lights are 50 watts high pressure sodium, but LED lights can provide similar lighting with less wattage. Thus, we plan to replace the 50 watt high pressure sodiums with 19 watt LEDs. So the tariff needs to cover the lower wattages to reflect the reduction in electricity that we will be using. The second point, the streetlight tariff needs to have provisions for smart photo cells, as they would enable actual streetlight usage to be metered, eliminating the need for calculated usage. Also, this technology would allow streetlights to be dimmed, so the traditional method of estimating usage would no longer be valid. And the third point, we also request that DPU look into Unitil's streetlight ratings. It should be considered that street lighting has hardly any effect on peak loads or capacity requirements. It uses the same distribution system as residential and small customer loads, runs during off-peak hours, is a flat and predictable load, and is less than 3/1000th of a residential and commercial load. We believe that the proposed rate structure, even though it is less than before, assigns more cost to the streetlight system than is justified. Thank you.
Attorney General wish to make a statement at this time?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. My name is Sandra Merrick. I'm Assistant Attorney General in Attorney General Martha Coakley's Office of Ratepayer Advocacy. Attorney General Coakley has asked me to appear here tonight on behalf of the ratepayers of the Electric Division of Fitchburg Gas and Electric Company, doing business as Unitil. By statute, the Attorney General represents the interests of Massachusetts ratepayers in gas and electric cases before the Massachusetts Department of Public Utilities, or DPU. In the beginning of 2011, despite a very tough economy and long-lasting recession, Unitil filed a request seeking approval from the Department of Public Utilities to increase annual electric distribution revenues by approximately $7.1 million. The Attorney General strenuously opposed that unwarranted rate increase, and ultimately, in August of 2011, the department permitted the company to increase its rates by $3.3 million. Now, the company has filed a multi-part request seeking approval from the department that, when all of its various stages become effective, will increase annual distribution revenues by at least $9.5 million. This is a nearly 45% increase in the company's base distribution revenues. In addition, the company has asked regulators for a profit known as a return on equity of 10.25%, which is more than 1% higher than the 9.2% return the department granted to the company 2 years ago, and out of line for regulated monopoly gas companies. We should note here that Fitchburg Gas and Electric Light Company is a subsidiary of a much larger utility company conglomerate named Unitil, which is headquartered in New Hampshire. In looking at your electric bill and the company's proposal, it must be understood that the company is asking for the authority to increase the distribution or delivery service portion on your bill. This does not include the cost of electricity that you use, which the company recovers separately on a dollar-for-dollar basis. So any increase awarded will be on top of what you'll pay for your actual electricity usage. In the company's last rate case, the department, in agreement with many of the Attorney General's arguments, flatly rejected the company's request for a capital cost adjustment mechanism, or so-called CCAM, that allows it to recover for a large-scale capital investment program in its electric system. Now, the company is taking the second bite at the proverbial apple, repackaging its CCAM proposal. This time, it is arguing that some new reconciliation mechanism, either the CCAM or a cost of living type inflation-adjusted multi-year rate plan, is necessary to provide for annual revenue increases in between base rate proceedings. The company is proposing a $6.7 million increase in the new base rates that it will charge. In addition, the company seeks to implement a storm fund tracker effective January 1, 2015, that collects an additional $2.8 million annually for future storm costs. These two proposed adjustments, by themselves, increase base distribution rates by over 45%. Also being implemented for the first time is either a capital tracker, which would cost customers $550,000 annually, or an inflation adjustment mechanism, costing customers $448,000, added to the Revenue Adjustment Mechanism, or RAM, which results in an additional 2.3% increase in base rates each year. Thank you very much for the opportunity to express the Attorney General's concerns and comments.
Are there any elected municipal officials who wish to make a statement? Sir, could you just state your full name for the record and your title?
My name is Jeffrey Bean. I'm from Pittsburgh City Council, Pittsburgh, Massachusetts. And thank you for